Well, it's reportedly code red at OpenAI right now. According to reports, CEO Sam Altman says that the company needs to play catch up with their ChatGPT large language model chatbot. It comes after Google released their newest version of Gemini, OpenAI's direct competitor to ChatGPT. Altman telling his employees that Google's new model outperforms ChatGPT in many tests, and it may mean that the company will be taking an economic hit while they try to catch up. The other concern here is that they could lose users to other chatbots, a fear that may already be being realized in some capacity as people like billionaire Mark Benioff publicly announces he's switching to Google's Gemini after using ChatGPT every day for 3 years. Joining us now, Evan Schlossman, principal at SuRo Capital. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Talk first about the speed of innovation in this field right now, given this red alert.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much. And just to set the context here, so at SuRo Capital, we have an investment in OpenAI, and we've been extremely excited, I would say, about the innovation and accelerated pace of innovation over the last 3 years. So SuRo is interesting in that we're actually a publicly traded fund on the NASDAQ, and just 4 S's, but we allow everyday investors to invest in sort of venture and private companies before they go public via our portfolio. And so we spend all day in the private markets. And I would say over the last 3 years since ChatGPT is launched, and even over the last year, 18 months, it has been truly awe-inspiring to see sort of the rate of change and adoption. If you think about 3 years ago, you had a single text chatbot, right, that could barely pass the bar exam. And now you have a product that could be a PhD level tutor in physics. So to see that rapid acceleration and user adoption has been incredible. And I think we're still in the early innings of what's to come.
Increased competition, is that a good thing?
Yeah, I think it's natural in this market. If you think about how large of a market we're talking about, you're talking about really intelligence, right? Intelligence as a whole, and the ability to produce an intelligent bot, a response mechanism, a utility that can help you with everything from planning your recipe from Thanksgiving to help write emails to answering extremely complex programs and writing, the code for websites. And so if you think about the size of that market, think about it in a few ways. One is we're going to see multiple players in this space, especially in different areas. And so one company may do really well with coding. Another may do well with enterprise. In OpenAI's case, they've done well across the board, but extremely well in terms of consumer adoption. They have about 800 million weekly active users, 1 out of every 10 people across the globe, which is staggering. And so as we think about sort of innovation here and competition, we are excited to see companies push each other in this space. I think it's going to result in probably a better product out faster for all users, and we'll pick up a rate of adoption and speed of innovation that is already at a blistering pace so far.
And while competition is good and innovation is great, and certainly this field has a lot of both, there also has to be some forecasting of risks. As AI becomes smarter, it becomes also concerningly more impossible to control. How do you address that, and what's the advice to the user?
I think we see it in a few ways. I mean, it depends on how you're using the product, right? And so obviously the information that you enter into a LLM or a chatbot system, is the same thing you would enter into any other sort of consumer or program. And so just being mindful of what personal information is entered into it, how much you want to share. All these programs, or at least a lot of them, have different levels of privacy and toggles in the settings. And so that's always a good thing to take a look at from that standpoint. I think as we are considering safety, there's different levels from an enterprise and a consumer standpoint. But we're seeing a lot of innovation also on that side of companies and other applications being formed in order to facilitate a more safe environment, and better ways to access and utilize new AI technologies as they emerge.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.